I am on the line with the amazing, lovely, and talented Susan Aglukark. Not only has she received the Governor General's Award for Arts and the Order of Canada, she's a 4-time Juno winner and recent winner of the Humanitarian Award at the 2022 Junos. Danse, halu, tungasugit, and welcome to 89.3 The Raven, Susan.
Oh, thank you, Bill. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, first off, I'm an Indigenous artist myself outside of the radio world, and I have to say, it is an absolute honor to talk with you today. So thanks for taking some time to chat with us today.
Yeah, I'm really happy to be here, Bill.
You were an inspiration to many of us in a time when there wasn't a whole lot of Indigenous faces or voices in the Canadian music market. Now in the South, I remember Redbone and Robbie Robertson, of course, but in the North, the names that were familiar with me when I was growing up were, of course, Buffy Sainte-Marie, Cashton, and Susan Aglukark. I feel like there's been this insurgence in music to come out of the North in recent years again, Innu, Inuk, and all Inuit music for that matter. Why do you think we're seeing so much talent come from the North right now? And maybe who are some of your artists to watch right now?
I think what we're seeing right now, I would say in the last 10 years especially, is an awakening of possibilities of a sort. When we're watching and witnessing people that we admire. I grew up with Buffy Sainte-Marie, for example. I grew up with Willie Dunn. If you take a listen to his music and his lyrics and his writing, when I first started this career, I'm listening to all these incredible Indigenous songwriters, and it's an powerfully empowering thing to see fellow Indigenous fearlessly advocating and writing and creating for themselves and for our people. And that's empowering. So as long as there's that movement keeps moving forward, it just takes on its own movement and keeps going. And I think the last 10 years, it's just been powerful in that way. We're just seeing so much more stronger artists that have a stronger place to speak up from, and that's what's going on right now. So those are the artists that in my own community, Akliat, I grew up with Charlie Paniguniak, for example, who was just this effortless, all naturally talented singer, comedian, actor. It was just wonderful to watch these people. So as long as they're there, we're going to keep moving forward in a powerful way.
Now let's go back to OCM. This song broke down doors not only for you, but for Indigenous people as a whole. When you first wrote OCM, do you think it would take you where it did?
No, not at all. And in fact, when I left home at the time was still the Northwest Territories. It became the NWT partway through my career. So when I talk about home, it was still the Northwest Territories. I left to leave. I was not a singer. I was not a songwriter. It was just a series of happenstances, right place, right time. When I first moved to Ottawa, that brought me to the company of artists, songwriters, and musicians. And so when I ended up with a record deal and we were in the studio songwriting, I was pretty essentially kind of lost as an artist. I was just discovering the practice of art and songwriting. So when OCM came out, it was technically our second big album, our first major label debut album, and it just climbed the charts really, really fast. I think those of us who were in that circle, myself, my manager, agent, label, we were all just, oh, well, that just happened. What do we do next? What do we do now? Yeah, I was definitely caught by surprise. I knew it was a special song. I was just really, really caught unprepared for what was to follow for the next little while.
Now you're sitting with an armful of Junos, and this year you received the Humanitarian Award at the Junos, and I know you had talked to Shannon from our morning show prior to winning. So now that you've received that, and it recognizes not just your musical bodies this time, but the work that you've done to better lives in Northern communities. Was the feeling of accepting this award much different than prior Junos?
It was. It was very different. I would say of the four, the third one is the one that I was really, really, truly proud of as a singer-songwriter, because it was at that point that I felt like I had earned it. The earlier Junos were exciting, and I felt like those ones, the team deserved those ones, because there's a lot of work everybody did, and equally. But the third one, I felt like, okay, I earned this one as a singer-songwriter, so in that way, that one was special. But the fourth one, the Humanitarian Award, again, was different, but even more special, because we were able to share it with the team that got everything happening for the Art of Growth Foundation. I was involved from the very beginning, and I am the founder. But we know that the work we are doing in basic mental health supports and expressive arts and all these things, it's a lot of people supporting each other and working together to do that work, and that's what Art of Growth Foundation is doing. So that award was never just mine, and it gave me a chance to acknowledge all of them. And we also brought to Toronto for the Juno event our youth workers from our northern communities. And just to watch them participate, observe, they did the red carpet with me. It was really all about them, and it was very, very special that way.
It's incredible the work that you guys have done and how you have shared that spotlight with your entire team of people that are also helping the lives of other people. So congratulations to you and your entire team on that award, Susan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now you have a new album, The Crossing. Tell us a little bit about the album.
Yep. Yeah, so The Crossing actually was done and ready to go just before the pandemic. And that one I'm very excited about because when we look at the time leading up to the pandemic, as Canadians, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, we were doing and working our way up to doing really incredible work in the area of healing and reconciliation. And to me, part of healing as an Indigenous person is rewriting our history books and writing them from our learnings and the way that we learn them. And of course, as songwriters, we're going to turn what we know and learn into songs. And so The Crossing is a lot of the things I've learned about my ancestors, about one possible journey of the Inuit people. Those origin stories are so important in our healing journey. So The Crossing is all of those discoveries, and very glad to have finally released it so we can get that music out there and get those stories out there as part of healing and reconciling.
And we can't wait to give it some spins on all of our stations. For my final question, I don't want to take up too much of your day. I'm trying to settle a bit of a bet here between me and Shannon from Raven Mornings. We're talking and she thinks you may have been on Sesame Street. I couldn't dig anything up, so I figured I would just ask myself, were you ever on Sesame Street?
No, I have not been on Sesame Street.
You should be on Sesame Street, in my opinion. You would have been a great guest on Sesame Street.
We're going to look into that now.
Yeah, you should. Once again, sitting with Susan Aglukark, Kininaskompton, hi, Nakormik. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today, Susan.
All right. Thank you as well.
Have a good day.
You too.